Education makes people easy to lead, but difficult to drive. Easy to govern, but impossible to enslave. That is a quote by Henry Brougham, who was once Lord Chancellor of the United Kingdom. But he really isn't important for this speech. I just thought that the quote really meant something. And as inspiring as it may be, it really is the opposite of what we go through today as college students. More than half of college students graduate with a diploma in one hand and a substantial amount of debt in the other. So is that really providing a stable future for us if we have to leave here with a lot of debt? And this obviously proves that now more than ever is when we need to make a difference, because nobody else seems to want to be helping us, so this is the time for us to really do something about our own education. Now 10 years ago, tuition was less than $3,000. Now fast forward to today, tuition is more than $14,000 for an academic year for an in-state student. Now to make matters even worse, to add to the tuition problems, a 52% budget cut has been proposed by Governor Corbett, and if passed, could have really devastating outcomes for all of us, mostly the administration, the faculty members, but more importantly, we the students. Now, with the cuts not even being into place yet, there are a number of programs that I've seen that have been eliminated from PSU's budget. Most importantly would be WISE, which stands for the Women in Science and Engineering Institution, and they will no longer be accepting students starting from June 30th. And this is obviously a shame, because for a major that is basically male-dominated, there really wouldn't be any women to really have this opportunity to get a head start in life. And also, the Counseling Psychology Doctoral Program will not be accepting students either. And what really got me is that they're actually pushing students into taking other forms of doctoral psychology, like teaching or clinical psychology, which isn't exactly what they signed up for in the first place. So it's basically pushing them into another major that they never wanted to be in. And the most one that really got me was that a top 5 program in the world, it has been ranked top 5 in the world, which is called the Master of Fine Arts program, will no longer have funds to actually accept new students. And this is really sad for a program that is really so noted in the world that it really cannot be, that it really isn't functioning anymore. Tuition already makes up 2/3 of our budget. Now, for us to really cut all these programs, unfortunately, most of it might not suffice. So this is why I say that we really need to be the difference, and we really need to do something about our education. And just the whole talk about rising tuition is really hurting PSU status as an integration to higher learning, because this university was founded as a public education. So this should actually make it easier for people to afford, rather than for it to chase people away to have to attend community colleges or go somewhere else. Now, a personal story that really got to me was a story of Daniel Bumberger. I hope I said his name right. And he was forced to abandon an education at Penn State due to his inability to pay for tuition. Now, Daniel, who is now 23, works at Walmart in Clairville, Pennsylvania, and someday hopes to go back to starting an education again. But yeah, he still has a $6,000 debt that he's still in from his unfinished college career. Now, he's always been very goal-orientated, and he always knew what he wanted to do with his life. And he had, since he was a child, he had dreams of working with NASA, and one day working with NASA. But he actually came from humble beginnings. He was raised by a single mother on food stamps since the age of 8. But things got a little better when his mother married his stepfather, who was once an employee at Penn State, which made it possible for him to actually receive a 75% tuition discount. Now, when he entered his sophomore year, that's kind of when things took a turn for the worse. He lost 2 grandparents, his sister became diabetic, and to top things off, his mother and his stepfather divorced, which made it impossible for him to actually still get that tuition discount. Now, with already horrible grades that he has on his resume, he opted to withdraw for the semester. but since he did it at such a late time, he lost all of his financial aid, and menial jobs were really not enough for him to cover his education. But what's most important is, why is a public education so hard for him to get? Like, the main point of Penn State is so that, like, students could have a public education. And it's not fair that he should be forced to drop out of a public funded university. Now, since little's been done by the administration to tackle tuition, it is up to us, the students, to really help ourselves. I mean, no offense to Grant's family, but he really is getting like $800,000 a year, and he really is just sitting on his ass doing nothing about it. So that's why I really say we should help ourselves. Now, the rally against tuition has been somewhat effective, but everybody talks about how we need to do something about tuition, but who really is out there standing out there and really rallying that we need to do something about this? Who really is out there making the difference? So it's not just about talk. There really is power in numbers. So we really need to unite and really do something about this issue. And another idea that I came up with, it might sound a little crazy, but it was called Thon for Tuition. I mean, we raised $9 million for pediatric cancer. Why can't we raise $9 million to fund our own education? I mean, united we conquer and divided we fall. So it really is a possible idea. And in conclusion, we need to realize that a specific approach needs to be taken to resolving tuition. I mean, we really can't walk up and say, decrease tuition right now or else. Like, it really starts with progress, and it really needs to, it takes time, because saying decrease tuition right now is not really necessarily realistic. And we all know that tuition is a problem, but it really matters what people do to really solve the problem. Public education, most importantly, should be the solution and really not the problem.